What's going on, everybody? Hail to the king. That's right. We're back again. Episode 12. We're talking about Godzilla and all of his amazing movies. It's 70 years and 40 films by the time we're done. We are going over it all. We're going to watch the shows. We're going to talk about them. We're getting into everything. We're having a good time doing it. This episode, we're talking about from 2016, Shin Godzilla. Lots of bureaucracy in that one. And then we're going to jump right into the first part of a trilogy that started in 2017. That's right, Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters. And we're going to go all about that into that anime and how it all starts out. And then we're going to finish that off next week with the next two parts. As always, I have joining me Trevor Stottlemyer from Ambassador Radio and Media and Sir Sturdy from Horror with Sir Sturdy and Popcorn and Pints. I'm going to bring him on now, and we're going to talk some Godzilla. So let's get into it. Well, guys, welcome to the show. We appreciate you guys coming back, and let's talk some. The whole time we've been talking Godzilla, it's been a 70-year ride, a journey with all three of us. How you guys feeling about it so far? We're coming towards the end.
Relieved. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but again, we're going through a marathon of Godzilla. We're going through a marathon of Star Wars and Star Trek, which is actually ending next weekend, besides, the fun movies we're going to be doing after. And the relief is the break from it, even though there were some enjoyable films and all that good stuff. And I'm going with both franchises, that was, all three at this point. But it's just like, I'll get to watch something new. Like, yes, I know every single one of these for the most part were new to me, but it's like just something completely different. Just to get a break from it. Just after this, I don't want to see, hear, or smell Godzilla besides -1. And Star Wars and Star Trek, I could just take a break from that. I may watch the shows because I'm thinking about getting into Next Generation. Other than that, I don't even want to see it. If it's not horror in space, I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to talk about it. No disrespect, but it's just like one of those things. Like you watch it so much, like, okay, I need a break.
That's very fair.
I see like parents want their kids out. Like, 18, get the fuck out. Get out. It's been too long.
Godzilla can no longer be a dependent at this point. So.
No, like you can't be a dependent. You can get out.
It's weird. I've always loved Godzilla movies. I'm not as excited about getting into the US ones, just because to me, as I said last week, pertaining to the first US Godzilla verse, Monsterverse movie, it just, it was better than it could be. But it's actually gotten me to revisit a lot of other Japanese cinema. So, I almost feel like I should be watching Godzilla movies for this. But if I find myself watching old Nigatsu noirs or new wave stuff or, classic Japanese cinema, no matter what, it's kind of spurred a re-interest in Japanese cinema. It's like, the whole time I'm looking forward to this coming an end so I can make it, my own, that I want to watch all the other Toho monster films that are outside of the Godzilla verse. But I've been waiting until I get to the end of it.
Great answer. I love it.
Can I say something to Trevor really quick? I mean this with the utmost respect.
Okay.
You're a Japanese man trapped in a white man's body, Trevor. Because just your respect for the culture, I'm just like, I never hear him talking about white stuff. It's always Japanese, and I fucking love it. I love it. I freaking but because you dive, I'm a fan of a lot of stuff with the culture, but you really dive into where you learn to pronounce the names right, and I think that's very awesome, amazing, respectful, and important. Keep it up, please.
Well, thank you.
I do too. I do. I have that's why I kind of refer to you when I start. I know I'm messing stuff up. I'm like, please, Trevor, save me. You're my only hope. Trevor One Kenobi.
I don't know it all the time either. It's just it's like it is hard when you're dealing with a language that uses completely different caricatures for alphabet, and it is really hard. I mean, it's hard enough to remember. I mean, I adore Italian films. Mick can definitely attest. but it's still very, very hard to remember the names and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah.
And and it's so for me too. I love that you said that like you're finding a kind of being drawn back into Japanese cinema. I have been as well. Revisiting a lot of things, and I definitely see myself revisiting more of the Toho monsters, even like crossing over and going into Gamera and others as well. But I think my biggest thing about this whole journey right now is it's bear with me on this, because honestly it's Japanese cinema for me is like hit or miss. Like it's like I will watch 10 amazing films in a row, then I'm like, the culture is so brilliant, and then I will watch something so out there that I'm like, I got to turn this off, and I've got to hide from Japanese cinema for about 3 or 4 years.
The only thing I'm gonna say you need to change about that statement is I need to let Trevor and Sturdy know about this movie. Trevor's probably already seen it, but just in case he didn't, because they're probably gonna want to watch this crazy ass movie.
Probably already have.
Hopefully, but just in case, like that's perfect for Sturdo Vision, which we love it over there. And Trevor, because again, I've just heard him talk about some wild movies that I want to see.
Mind you, nothing bad. I'm not saying anything bad. I'm not taking
No, I
anything
know.
away. And I don't say that. Like,
I know exactly what you mean with that.
I just mean one of those things where it's just kind of like, all right, I gotta walk
It could
away.
be too much
from
for
it
you.
for a while.
It could be too. For some people, it could just be too much. Like not that it's a bad movie, but it's just like, yo, this is a lot to handle and a lot to take in, and not even on some creepy stuff. Not even on creepy stuff. That's not what we mean by that. People, it's just the tone of the story can be like.
It's the look at Godzilla. Let's take Godzilla as sort of the whole identity of the 70 years of Godzilla and how much that's changed.
Yeah.
Look how many different ways they've taken just this one character. And so like they're not even afraid to do that and evolve that character in such ways, so like that's what I love about it. And so we're kind of going off on a little bit on Japan. I just needed to say that, and I think I was doing it more for effect, but at the same time it's true, because you watch Tetsuo and you're like, I need a little bit of a break. I gotta go watch like The Sandlot and like maybe cry a little bit.
No, but see,
I just end up watching more cyberpunk films. So
like for this,
Rubber Lover, or
Great movie,
Body Hammer and Tetsuo 3, which really is
I would just jump into like Japanese horror from this. So I'm not tired of Japanese movies. It's just like, now, all right, now give me the horror stuff. Give me the stuff I need.
I say tired. I said just need a little bit of a break.
little break.
You know what I mean, though.
Just a little.
Jumping from Godzilla to Wild Zero. So,
you can get tired of the things you love, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's healthy.
Oh yeah, that's very normal for a film fan. And remember, I film lover and film fan versus cinephile, because I don't like that term. But we love movies, and so there are certain genres that are our favorites. But when it really comes down to it, we just love movies. Yes. And we can burn ourselves out on something. It just happens. But we have like 7 or 8 other things to fill that void. And we're constantly going back and forth. It's just whenever, you're doing something pertaining to a certain movement of cinema and you get that in the middle of it. And then that becomes like, that's just par for the course. So
and we're kind of getting into that in this week's episode of the podcast, which is going to be, can films fall out of being classics?
I thought that I'll definitely check that out. It sounds really interesting.
Interesting. But so I want to start with Shin Godzilla first, because that's the next movie in order, of course. But it was an interesting one for me, and there's a couple of points I want to bring up before we get into like the facts and sort of what we feel about this movie. But one, this movie, from what I understand, everything I've been kind of researching, is heavily trying to satire and parody the government and how it handled the fallout from 2012. Yeah. And so I kind of understand where they were going with and the message that they had in this. Very different Godzilla in this in many respects. Very interesting, sort of how they went about it. And they really like, even with the marketing, kind of went all in on this look at the time, it seemed, with everything I saw. It did really well, really extremely well, especially like it overshot its budget by immense amount. And yeah, really revitalized like Godzilla coming back in Japan. So and like, you know, there's now a museum, there's, you know, statues everywhere, and like it's really, I would even say this was just as big at bringing back Godzilla's popularity after Final Wars as the legendary films.
I agree.
So before we get into our reviews of the film, Trevor, I was wondering if you had any maybe sort of backstory or any knowledge of the film that maybe you could share with us.
Well, one of the big things, just really short, is the fact that, you know, the US Monsterverse Godzilla did extraordinarily well. And of course, Toho and any dealings they ever have pretty much are like, we can still do whatever we want with this whenever we want to. And Shin Godzilla actually was kind of the, you know, precursor to, they also did a Shin Ultraman, a Shin Kamen Rider, to totally revamp these properties in a way that it would bring them up to current taste. And I, you know, that's about as much as you can really say about it. It was the success of the US Godzilla that made it possible for Toho to go, well, maybe we should relook at this.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, Shin Godzilla in itself, I mean, I will go on later about it. I do love it, but I can see why some people don't. But, you know, it was a big enough thing that a lot of the current monuments and stuff for Godzilla, you know, look like Shin Godzilla, because it was that big of a hit after years and years of abysmal returns from Godzilla films in Japan.
Now, do you know why maybe they went with the sort of look that they did for this Godzilla, perchance?
Don't. I did not get a chance to research as much.
Okay.
But for me, what I always felt and what little research I did is, so Godzilla in this film, if you haven't seen it, he changes almost from like a fish to like, there's all these different stages, and it leads up to a stage that implied a sequel that totally shifts the Godzilla mythos into something completely supernatural, possibly even Lovecraftian, and also to, I mean, you can quote biblical shit, and also, you know, whoever, well, William Peter Blatty, of course, by saying Godzilla in Shin Godzilla is Legion. Legion, we are many. And that was the next step in the evolution. So this is a very out there god. He is this force of nature that also is the epitome of evil. I mean, it's like Satanzilla almost. So
Satanzilla.
Yeah.
I like that take on it. And actually, let's go around and give our reviews on it. And I'm going to start with you, Trevor, because you seem really into it, and I really want to hear like how you feel about it, why you like it so much.
Well, you know, it was just nice as a Godzilla fan to go to a Japanese Godzilla film in a US theater. That was a special feeling, being a Godzilla fan. So that took me a little bit back to around 1985, when it was really exciting to see, you know, Godzilla in a theater again. Basically coming from, you know, what was reinterpreted as a source material to 84. So right there, boom, it was exciting. And, you know, the design was so out there that, you know, the first look was like, and then you watch the movie, and as he morphs into different things, and it just gets almost disgusting. It goes for this visceral quality Godzilla never had before. And one of the beauties of this movie is how, in my opinion, when it comes to the scenes of Godzilla, how there are such disgusting scenes, but such scenes of beauty. I would say one of the most beautiful scenes in any Godzilla film, and this goes a lot to the composers of this particular film, is when Godzilla actually shoots his atomic beams all over, and the music and everything in a theater. Sturdy. I may be able to get you to get the feeling on this. So it was the same feeling I got when I was watching -1, and suddenly the atomic breath, there was black rain.
Oh, yeah.
That was a scene in that movie that I went like, whoa, this is beyond an allegory. That's kind of the same thing you felt with this Godzilla. It was just, and especially that scene. I still think, I mean, if I want to see a scene that just takes my breath away, it is the scene in which he just spurts lights all over the place. So yeah, and one of the things I loved about it was the human story. It is about bureaucracy. It is a take on how Japan really doesn't have a FEMA, and their FEMA kind of blows. And also you have a look into government that is only really allowed to be a democratic government for itself for a very short time, and how going back centuries into feudal, and of course we're not far away from empirical rule, that these formalities make basic bureaucracy that much stickier. It's like, okay, so there's a giant monster destroying your city, killing n-th numbers of people. Well, okay, so we got to have that meeting, and then we have to have that meeting, but then we have to make sure this person knows about it. It's absurd. I feel that this film is like a parody. And of course, like the best of the Godzilla movies, including -1, it's the underdogs and the weirdos that cling together in the end and figure it out.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
And I love that you said that. I get to that and when I go, but I want it's sturdy. Your face has been funny the entire time, and you've been funny in the chat. So I want to talk to you next about this.
I just didn't like it. I'm not even gonna bite my tongue. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm not gonna, like I said it in the group chat. What did I?
That's fair.
I said Shin Godzilla is, and I just put a bunch of dots. Trevor said also, and I said there's a in there. But
yeah, I love that answer. That was great.
That's not the one. But I love Trevor's response to it because he really enjoyed the movie, which I do enjoy. I love that he loved the movie. But basically, the reasons why he enjoyed it is the reasons why I didn't, especially like the human interaction and all that. I didn't really care about that story. I understand that that's important, but it was just kind of boring for me for that. And then the Godzilla, I wasn't crazy about the look. Was not crazy about the look of it, and it just kind of took me out of it. And it felt more like, I hate to say it's about a movie, but you know how sometimes with a movie when you're doing it, it feels more like a chore to watch it than just like really enjoying it. It wasn't to that level, but it was close to it. Where I was like, I just have to get this. I have to get through this. And here's the funny thing was my plan was to watch this one and the one after back to back, but I was like, I'm scared to watch the next one right after this. And I was like, I'm gonna watch something different now because I'm having a good day today and I want to keep it that way. So let me just watch something different now. Don't remember what it was. It might have been Star Wars, which didn't fucking help. But I had to do that.
Can't find something I would voluntarily watch, honestly.
Yeah, well, no, because I had to watch that for my other show, so I'm like, let me get it out of the way, and
Well, I feel bad now, but
no, there's no reason to feel bad. It's a part of this. It's a part. Listen, man, I do this stuff. I know what happens, but. And I'm not mad about it because you can't like everything, and I'm not gonna lie and pretend I like it. I'm gonna be honest, it just wasn't for sturdy. And the 2000s of Godzilla have been very freaking weird for me. It's been a very like up and down, just like this, up and down for me the whole damn time.
Yeah, I know it's a strange effect, but I haven't disliked them, but well, some of them I have. But I did this.
It's impossible to make the equivalent of about 40 films and have them all work over 70 years. I mean, you just look at the James Bond franchise. I mean, that is significantly smaller and everything. And, that's another one that you have, like I think Live and Let Die is a phenomenal film. But you say that to some people who are Bonders and they'll be like, oh, it's the same Godzilla. It's just, he's such an icon that I always find it interesting how people react to the movies. I will say doing this with
That's a
you
great,
guys.
you know what?
Uh-oh.
Oh, is it?
No. I love it. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just to say that by doing this, being a lifelong Godzilla fan, there were a lot of movies that I did not like.
Mhm.
That researching them and watching them consecutively and being able to say, okay, well, this film has this crew. I like them by far more now. But
Oh,
yet, and
nice.
I'm 48 and I started watching Godzilla at 4, so I'm kind of
I
hooked
love
on the
that.
Godzilla smack. So
And see, with you saying that, what I love about that, Trevor, is that's me, but with horror. I'm 38, but I've been watching horror since I was about 5 years old, and that's just like that's my
Yeah.
drug. That's my addiction. And then to top it off, my wife, that's her favorite genre is horror when it comes to movies. So it's like, oh, this makes this way easier. So people, listen, when you're going out there looking for somebody, looking for your significant other, find some similarities, and I mean some similarities. Forget looks and all that other sexual shit. Find some real similarities, like movies, games, and stuff that you both
exactly.
enjoy doing. And for those of you who've been married for X amount of years, I don't care if it's 1 year, 40 years, 50 years, never stop dating.
Exactly.
And love Godzilla.
Yes, exactly. What I'm going to say real quick is, honestly, for me, this is the most horror of the Godzilla movie.
I agree.
Because Godzilla is, I mean, as I said before, there's a Lovecraftian Cthulhu quality to him. Of course, you have the whole, like Legion thing at the end, but by nature, he's a much more disgusting creature. There were several
Agreed.
scenes that were not filmed because Toho just said, no, we're not going to do it. And one of the scenes, he kind of falls without arms and he lets go of so much blood to cool him off. And I've seen the original storyboards and everything. That was supposed to happen much more. And part of, it was going to flood and people were going to be drowning in his blood.
Oh,
That was
Wow.
filmed, and Toho even did not want it filmed, but that was
Toho.
in the
Put
story.
that in there.
Yeah.
Wow,
So
that
there
would've
were
been
other elements of horror that were removed too. But
Yeah.
no, this is Godzilla is a disaster film. in my
Yeah.
opinion.
This and so and to kind of so for me, I do like this movie. I like the Godzilla scenes, the disaster scenes. I thought they were really well done. I like the special effects of it. I like the evolution portion of it. It is very hard to a lot of horror to it, and I like that aspect. I love the sort of atomic blast out of the back. I'm not a big fan of the opening up of the face, kind of reminded me of Blade 2. But I didn't hate it either. I was just kind of, I was just like, I was like, it's not really Godzilla, but whatever. I think because I associate it so much with like Predator or Blade 2, I was like, nah, I didn't love it. But
There's definitely an aliens quality to it.
yeah. So for me, I was like, okay, I could have taken or leaving that, but it didn't take me away from that. But everything else, like, it was a boring movie otherwise, and I think that's what bothered me. Is like, I get the bureaucracy of it, and here's what bothered me about it is I think it bothered me because I saw Shin Godzilla after Godzilla -1.
Oh, that's yeah.
And it's the same. Here's the thing: it's essentially the same story. You have the same Godzilla evolving. It's just told in a different time frame. The bureaucracy is sort of told from afar, but not through paperwork and not through the red tape, through the people of Japan having to get breakthrough. The US and Russia is trying to stop the help, and the country of Japan not helping. So it's the same story, but of course Godzilla -1 told it in a much better way. And I think that takes away from Shin Godzilla.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at that because Godzilla -1 is so goddamn
wonderful.
But I am interested to see where it could have sort of gone. It did interest me that they were kind of opening it up, which again they also sort of did in Godzilla -1. That there was a chance at something bigger coming. So that's my take on it. Would I ever watch it again? I don't know. Probably not. if I'm being honest.
That's fair.
But there are definitely some very cool scenes that I wouldn't mind checking out again, for sure.
It's in my top 4
Ever? Of all
Ever.
time?
of all time. Yeah.
I feel like an asshole now.
No. As far as, I mean, I totally get it because there is so much bureaucracy. Maybe it's because I saw it in a theater. I don't know. But to me, it wasn't boring.
Mhm.
It became, there's an element of boring that gives tension. And you'd have these scenes that you'd just be sitting there going, why are you doing this? Why? What's going on? How can they do this?
Mhm.
And that, I think, helps with the tension of the film if you're viewing it that way. But if not, no, it seems like there's just two totally different things going on and they don't really match up. But for me, I just think it was the freshest of the
Mhm.
Godzilla ideas. I mean, if I had to say my top 4, you're looking at the 54. You're looking at Godzilla versus Ghidorah. You're looking at Shin Godzilla, and you're looking at -1. So,
Okay.
it's I like the more out there interpretation.
Wow. All right. We're gonna come back because I'm gonna take. We still got a few weeks left. Like we got 4 weeks
Yeah.
left. I'm gonna have to come up with my lists on this. I'm gonna really work on this. I like that you said that.
Cool.
Because now you're throwing me off. Because like I don't know that Shin Godzilla wouldn't be on my list because it isn't a bad movie. I don't know that I'd watch it again because of the bureaucracy parts, but there are scenes that I really do appreciate about this. But all right. We'll get to that, but we do have another movie to talk about tonight. And it is the first in a trilogy of films. Netflix teamed up with Toho Animation to make it. It's an anime film trilogy. Like I said, it's Godzilla, Planet of the Monsters. We follow a band of humans who left Earth many years ago when Godzilla was attacking and ravaging everything. And for them, for 20 years traveling through space, they are trying to figure it out, trying to figure out where they're going to go, where they're going to live, unlimited resources. And then they finally decide, let's go back and check, because it has to have been, Godzilla has to be dead. It's been 22,000 years there, right? So they go back to check and they find out not only is Godzilla still roaming around, but things aren't exactly how they left them 22,000 years ago. And they're going to have to try and figure out how to make it work. Guys, the first movie, let's go around and did you know anything about this beforehand? Either of you?
No.
Hmm?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew it existed, but
This was a good one, man. For a trilogy, like it really is. It kicked off a story that I'm really interested to see where this goes.
Same.
yeah.
So for you guys getting into this and after all the Godzilla we have been watching, what do you like? What do you think of just this one as the setup so far? Let's just talk about this one as a movie in general.
I'll say that this is my, and I know I'm talking out of order as far as because I know we've all watched the one, but this is my second favorite one after -1. I really enjoyed this. Like there's something about animated with most things that just brings me back to my childhood because I have always loved animated stuff. I've always loved cartoons, still do. And I think it's just because, like, with your imagination, you can literally go anywhere and it doesn't seem or look or feel out of place. Versus like live action, there's times where things kind of feel out of place. And with the animated stuff, I feel like it just works. It flows. It's smooth. I enjoy the story, and I want more. Like I want more. Okay. So now, after seeing this, I know I said I would never go back to anything. This, depending on how the whole trilogy is, besides -1, this may be something I may go back to down the road and just to check it out again.
Oh
But
yeah,
I really enjoyed. Like I had a great time with this. I had a great time with this. I was like, oh my goodness, this is just it just works. It just works.
how about you, Trevor, with this one?
I'm not a big anime person. I'll put that right out there.
Mhm.
But I did enjoy it. I don't want to talk too much about it because I think a lot of the concepts really will be revealed to me in a better light once I see the trilogy. But the one thing I really liked about it right off the bat was it's the only Godzilla film that takes place after the monster apocalypse. In the other films, the monster apocalypse never actually happens. But in this, the apocalypse has been caused by monsters and specifically Godzilla. So I like that. It's taking it to that extra step that everybody's kind of wanted to see. I also like the fact that it is definitely playing with the idea of where do these monsters fall into the earth and where does Godzilla fall into? There's talk of him being immortal. There's talk of him just being this strange anomaly that really doesn't make a lot of sense. But, the ideas of how Godzilla over that, thousands upon thousands of years evolves with the earth. I find that all fascinating, but I feel like I haven't gotten to that precipice where I can not be like, well, I'm assuming it's going to go this way. It's just got a lot of great ideas. Yeah. I think the Godzilla is a little weird looking. I mean, especially after defending Shin Godzilla. I feel weird saying this, but they just kind of look like, oh no, like something that was made out of grocery bag paper that had a really big ass.
Yeah, they did.
I know it's going to make sense as I watch the other two. I know they're going to explain it, but just watching it this morning, it was just kind of like old man Godzilla.
It does. So I did really enjoy this. So the main character of Haru was it? He left Earth. He was one of the young children who left Earth, and as he grew up, he rose to the ranks, became a leader. And then that kicked off really quickly with him being arrested for trying to stop the old people getting sent off, because they were trying to send off the old people to kind of fend for themselves because they have limited resources. And then so he's thrown in jail. And how you gonna throw the guy in jail and make him watch all the old people die?
Yeah, but that actually that was a surprise at the beginning, and I actually liked that. It showed me this was going to be a serious take.
Yeah.
No, but lost my train of thought. Keep going.
No, it's it was just one of those things where it was you're right. It really did. It took this very seriously. It has the tone of this is really well done. I think my biggest complaint over watching all of these Godzilla films is there's the human element is often lost in my opinion. And so it being lost in a lot of these films, and where we don't really care about any of these side characters, it's okay, sometimes maybe they'll throw a character in there and you're oh, I hope they survive, but there's really overall you don't really, it's just, and it's because there was never really crossover
Recurring characters.
Yeah.
I mean, another thing about this one that I really like, and I'll say, there are certain similarities to Shin Godzilla, because Shin Godzilla viscerally is an assault on what you think Godzilla is. This anime takes some very basic concepts that we've gotten so used to in Godzilla films that they're cliched tropes. As I brought up the idea of this is about after the apocalypse, in this film, aliens show up to basically say, hey, your ass is grass, our ass is already grass, we're going to help you. And guess what? They actually were trying to help.
Yeah.
That is really cool. I thought that was totally cool because it goes against every space trope of a Godzilla movie.
It really does. And then they get murdered right away. I'm not even ruining anything for anybody going to watch this movie. I think you should. That's the first 3 minutes of the movie, people.
Then the aliens are the only one keeping some element of religion alive among the people, and I felt that really interesting. That it's going to be an outside life form that tries to maintain that kind of order.
Yeah, fair. So, Sturdy, for you, with this movie, so what are you excited to keep going? What are you most excited about with it?
I can't wait to watch the next two. Again, I just love animated because it can go in especially with stuff like this. It can go in those I guess unimaginable or unbelievable directions, and it's not so much disbelief as it is again when it's live action, to where I'll say more so nowadays with technology nowadays, how they have to CGI it up, and you can tell it's CGI'd up. With the animated thing, they don't have to do that, of course, and it just looks beautiful. And I just love it. And
It's so
again,
cool.
I want to see how the story continues because I like how they always ended with something. Well, with this, they ended with something you knew something was going to be coming next. So I want to see how they continue this story over the next 2 films.
Yeah,
and
honestly, I think that this is what bugs me is like I'm glad Toho did this. Is I feel like this is Toho's response to the legendary Godzilla films. Where they were like, okay, we get it. You're making and I think that'll make more sense to you guys when you get to the second.
Okay.
And we'll talk more about that in the next episode because I don't want to like give too much away or anything, but for them, it's like, okay, they're creating a monsterverse. We get it. Fine. But fine. We'll create our own little franchise. We'll create our own little trilogy here. And they do it. And I think it's just so promising in this first episode, in this first movie of this trilogy, that it plays so well beginning to end. Because even the end is like, you're just like, yeah, it shows promise to go into the next one, but like it just hits. That ending is like has an impact that's hard and it is so good. You know, it really makes you want to pick right up and see where it goes. So I'm super excited.
Such an epic battle, and then it's like we did it, and then no, we didn't.
No, we didn't. Not only did we not do it.
Like you give it everything you got, and it's like, oh man. And again, I can't wait. I can't freaking wait.
Yeah, it's gonna be really exciting. So, but you guys are gonna have to come back and check that out next week when we check out the final 2 movies in this trilogy. So make sure you come back for that one. I'm very excited for that. So that is going to be City on the Edge of Battle and The Planet Eater. That's right. Those are the final 2 in those. So I'm excited for that one. And then we will continue on. And we don't have much more. After we got 6 films left, guys, and the TV series. So that's it. Like we really we're almost there. We're getting there. So keep joining back up with us. But before we go, this weekend, Godzilla and Kong, the New Empire, is coming out this upcoming weekend, and I'm gonna go see it. I'm gonna check everything out, and I thought it'd be fun to kind of go around the horn and see what some of these movie theaters are offering in terms of merch. If you guys are interested,
definitely.
So let me pull this up. All right. What we got first here? No, that's not it. There we go. So this is AMC's merch store. Right?
Oh, I have one of those.
Yeah, I wanted one, and then it was out of stock. I should have picked it up earlier.
I got it from my son years and years ago.
Nice.
Very cool looking. And then you got this. I don't really want King Kong. I'm just not a big King Kong fan.
I like them both.
Yeah, I mean they're fine. I mean they're cool and everything. Whatever, but I just like the lizard more. But I thought this popcorn bucket is kind of cool though. Like where it's split. I think you can kind of detach it too, which is interesting. I don't know. Let's open that up, see what we got here. See if we can find out. Oh yeah, see it's 2. You can put it in 2.
Oh, cool.
So there you go. So you can share it with your date on your popcorn night.
Or you could just have 1 bucket apiece here. Which one do you like better?
There you go. That's even better.
Go sit over there. Go sit over there with the King Kong fans. Take your bucket.
And then I got a couple of vintage posters here that you can go check out.
Nice.
I'd buy those.
I would, yeah. $14.99. I check those out. I don't know how big they are. Open them up. $14.99. Oh, that's not bad.
No, for what size are they?
It says 22 by 34.
Oh wow. That's
really good.
$15 for both of them. That's not bad at all.
Yeah. King of the Monsters. And what's the other one? I know that one, but I can't think of it.
Is that SOS? I think that's SOS.
It looks like SOS.
I couldn't tell you.
It has to be because of the sub, right? I don't know.
I think
Don Fry.
Their Tango, yeah.
I'm so happy to find out that there's an AMC near us, though. I wish it was closer, but hey,
Well, if you have a Regal, there's another one here too. Got some stuff here you can go and check out. Some Godzilla dolls and King Kong dolls. Drink cups, I guess. They call them beverage buddies.
Beverage buddies.
Sounds like something from a bar.
Yeah.
I like the toppers on those cups.
Yeah, those are cool. Like those are pretty fun. $12. I guess you could buy them. Or you could pre-order them. And they'll come out March 25th. So tomorrow.
Looks like I might have to hit AMC.
Yep.
AMC looks like that's where it's at. Like there's some cool stuff coming up.
Yeah, because if you go through here, like I said, with the Ghostbusters thing, I was just like, let me check AMC first.
Yeah, once you showed me that, I was like, nah, mine's legit.
Yeah, that's why I would have been so mad. And a $10 difference at that.
I'm in. I'm excited though, and guys, we're gonna, there's gonna be a lots of stuff that we're gonna be talking about. We're gonna be bringing up, and I'm gonna see if I can get that popcorn bucket because I love my Godzilla. But I'll turn King Kong around. My wife can use that.
There you go.
There it is. Go get your merch now. But guys, before we get going, tell everybody what you got going on this week. Anything fun? Anything good plans?
Actually Tuesday. So this Tuesday is going to be the last episode of Horror Search 30 on Tuesdays because I'm going strictly to Thursdays until Sturdo Vision. Then we're going to do the Tuesday, Thursday kind of because that's kind of a different event, and then going back to it just because it's a lot, and I want to have more things coming out for you guys and start working on other stuff, and so less is more as well. So
This is more.
it's gonna be going like that. But Tuesday, 8:00 Eastern time, over on Horror Research 30, we are reviewing the movie You're Next.
Good one.
And then Thursday, we're doing Us. Same time, 8:00 Eastern time, over on Horror Research 30. We're doing the movie Us. Popcorn and Pints, we are reviewing the newer ones, Star Trek 2 and 3. I don't know what the extra parts called of it. You can Google that. But so that's what's coming up. That's next Saturday at 9:00 Eastern time. And I can't wait. I'm excited for all this coming up. And how about my man Trevor? What you got coming up, Trevor?
I'm hoping I can get a new Ambassador Radio show up by Friday. This particular one is probably going to look at first wave emo, just because right now there's such contention between what is emo and what isn't emo, and it is bizarre. So I'm working on that. Also got a couple other things that I'm just need to get caught up on, and multi being fun, but that's about it.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, guys, you got to follow them, and everything is linked down in the description below. And you got to make sure you're following, and you got to make sure that you're liking, and you got to make sure that you are corresponding and leaving comments and talking and letting everybody know what you think of everything that they're doing, because they're doing great work over there. And I appreciate you guys being on, hanging out with me, talking Godzilla. You guys are truly amazing. You're a wealth of knowledge.
Thank you.
I have one more announcement, which I did announce on Sturdo Vision. So over there, I'm not sure when yet, but we are going to start doing watch parties. But those nights we're going to be doing watch parties. We'll start them probably around like maybe 10 o'clock. And it may just be that and not do an episode. Not sure yet. But we're going to start doing some watch parties on Sturdo Visions on those Fridays. So I'll let you know when. And depending on how weird they are and how crazy they are, they'll be on the Sturdo Vision Discord. If not, be on the Scene Snobs if it's more friendly. If it's more family, I don't want to say family friendly, but if it's more friendly for amongst horror fans. If it's crazy stuff like what me and Trevor will, you're gonna have to come over to Sturdo Vision for that. I'm not even apologizing for it either.
Have a good old time with it. It's gonna be a great time. But guys, thank you again so much. Thank you all for watching, hanging out with us. Godzilla is one of our favorites, and you guys are all awesome for being a part of it and being fans and keeping them alive. So make sure you guys are being good to yourselves and being kind. So go check out our sponsors down below, Entertainment Earth, for all your Godzilla needs. They have some very cool collectibles on there. Helps us go a long way. Just like hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button, and giving us that little bell so that way you know when other great episodes come out as well. All right, guys, until next time, be kind, stay classy, and take care of yourselves. That's important. I'll talk to you guys soon. Take care.
Thank you.
Peace.